When you start creating art, there is so much pressure to be original, and sometimes you just don't feel it. At other times, like when you're in the shower or when you're about to go to sleep, usually the times that you don't have, your notebook to write ideas down in, that's when you get all your good ideas and you're swamped with them at that point. But then when it's time somebody says, all right, hey, I need a song, or you tell yourself, all right, let's sit down and write a song today. Writer's block hits you like crazy and you can't get anything out. Thankfully, there is a way to fix that, and I call it a lyric bank. And here's what you can do. Get a Word document or a Pages document, use Evernote, that's a really good one, or just notes, or get a notebook, an actual physical notebook that you can keep with you. Whatever it is, make sure it's something that you have access to either in your pocket or on your phone. Keep it with you everywhere you go, and every time you have an idea, write it down immediately. I have had so many good ideas for things that I can't remember now, and to be fair, maybe they weren't that great, but I feel like they were really great and I was excited about them at the time. I didn't write them down, I forgot them, and I'll never be able to use that idea again. Maybe I wouldn't have anyways, but at least now I don't even have the choice. And you know how sometimes one idea can lead to a better idea, which can lead to a better idea, or maybe you combine it with a different idea and now you have like this new super monster idea? Nothing, because I didn't write them down. You're also gonna wanna organize this. I typically like to organize mine by song level ideas, like what could a song be about? I like to have a category for images and metaphors, these word pictures that I can use to communicate a feeling or that song level idea. And then I like to have a section for sounds, alliteration, assonance, consonants, different lines that sound really good to me. And then finally, I like to have a section for rhymes, kind of a rhyme bank. I also like a section for lessons learned, maybe things that I've figured out don't really work that well, things that I wanna try in the future, whatever comes to mind, just a place where you can catalog your own growth. And then finally, I like to have a section for entire song lyric ideas, or maybe an entire stanza. And that's kind of the birthing grounds for what will one day become entire songs. And you can take ideas, you can take, images, you can take lines, you can take the rhymes, and you can use those to continue to develop those stanzas that you put together. Now, of course, you can organize this however you want, but I personally think that like a notebook or a program like Evernote is the best way for me to do it. That way I can keep things very easily categorized and I can move things from category to category if needed, especially because I like to add a final category, and that's the already used category. So if it's a notebook, I just, underline it, which means, hey, I've already used this. I put a star by it if I really like the idea. And then if I do it on the computer, I can just copy paste those ideas into the already used category. That way I can remember those ideas fondly, but I'm not tempted to repeat myself. Now, when you start out, your lyric bank is gonna be pretty empty, and there's two ways to begin to quickly fill it up. Number one, you can have a purposeful brainstorming session where you use the sound vomit method, or you write down a lot of the ideas you have personally already, or you can just come up with new ideas. The nice thing about having a brainstorming session is there's no pressure to make something beautiful and artistic and heroic out of the lyrics that you're putting together. Just come up with some ideas that might spark more ideas and more inspiration in the future. I call it a lyric bank, but it's kind of also an inspiration bank, saving some of your inspiration for a rainy day. So when you feel really inspired, fill this thing up, and then you'll have those for the future. The other thing you can do is you can take lyrics you've already written that you don't think are that great, and you can take out all of the things that you really like still, while deleting the rest and being able to forget about it forever, because you've saved the good stuff, and that way you don't have to worry about the bad stuff. Remember that about 1 in every 20 ideas when you first start writing songs is going to be amazing. Maybe 5 of them will be okay, the rest of them, just get rid of them. Now, that doesn't mean we're just talking about song ideas. That could refer to individual rhymes or a word choice, any one of the million decisions you have to make when you're writing a song. But be sure that at least you save those good ones, those ones that you really like and you'd like to save for later in your lyric bank. I think the primary benefit of using a lyric bank is it takes the pressure off of being inspired or being a genius lyric writer. Be inspired when you feel inspired, and then when it's time to just grind out a song, you can look back at the ideas you have, you can pick a couple from here, a couple from there, put them together, and it's so much easier to make a song that way. And that leads us right into our prompt. I want you guys to go ahead and decide where you're gonna keep your lyric bank, how you're gonna divide the different ideas, and then I want you to take 10 minutes at least and just do a brainstorming session to think of ideas. Remember, there's no pressure here because you're not writing a song, you're just coming up with ideas and you're full of them. If you're not feeling it right now, do something else that inspires you, exercise for a quick minute, and then come back and get at it again. Typically, the first 3 minutes of brainstorming are the absolute hardest, so at least commit to doing 4 minutes, and if you don't feel inspired after that 3rd minute, I totally understand. just take a break and come back and try again later. But just push past those 3 minutes and then really get going. Then I want you guys to use this lyric bank for all future lessons here, because there's gonna be a lot of prompts in this class where you're saving lyric ideas. And you can use those for later when you're writing actual songs. All right guys, go ahead and finish that prompt and then move on to the next lesson.